What is going on, everyone? This is CR Martin here with another impromptu video, and this is going to be different from the typical impromptu video that I usually do, but it's still very much cartoons and animation related, and this is going to be an update on a situation that is currently ongoing. So let's get down to business. Now, I'm sure a good majority of you are already aware of the situation at hand, but for those of you who aren't, allow me to get you up to speed with what's going on. So 2 months ago, it was announced that the plug was going to be pulled on the Disney XD series Wander Over Yonder. If you don't know what that is, Wander Over Yonder is an animated cartoon series that, like I said, airs on the Disney XD channel. It follows two intergalactic travelers. One of them is Wander, this very cheery, very optimistic, very friendly guy who's always willing to lend a helping hand, and his horse-like, aggressive, actiony, daredevil best friend, Sylvia. And their mission is simply to go from planet to planet, helping as many life forms as they can, befriending as many life forms as they can. The show was created by Craig McCracken, who I'm pretty sure for all of you animation and cartoon nuts out there is a familiar name. He's the guy who created the original Powerpuff Girls from 1998, the cartoons version. He also created Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and he's also a longtime friend of another Cartoon Network pioneer, Genndy Tartakovsky, the creator of Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, and Symbionic Titan. And Genndy and Craig have actually worked together in a lot of projects in the past. And another person working on Wander Over Yonder is Lauren Faust, the wife of Craig McCracken, who's also worked with Genndy and Craig on a lot of the projects that they've collaborated on. She's the creator of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and the Season 1 showrunner before she left to move on to other projects. And in Wander Over Yonder, she works as one of the co-producers alongside her husband. As far as Wander Over Yonder goes, Craig himself has stated that he has a lot of ideas. Well, I'm sure it's not just him who has a lot of ideas. I'm sure that Lauren has a lot of input as well, and not just Lauren, but all of the other producers working on the show. So, well, it's mainly Craig and Lauren. But anyway, I'm getting a little off topic here. So, Craig and Lauren have a lot of plans regarding their show, and they want to expand upon the mythos and the universe that they've established. They want to elaborate on a lot of the characters that that the fans have come to know and love. And to do so, he would need a couple of more episodes than what they've already got under their belt. And these episodes would be spanning, I'd say, at the least 3 to 4 seasons. So far, the show clocks in at 80 episodes over the course of 2 seasons, with the supposed final episode scheduled to air on the 11th of June this year. Disney has chosen to pull the plug on this show because they feel that 80 episodes is enough, even though the fan base and the creator both beg to differ. This is basically repeating a mistake that was made back in the days of when Michael Eisner took the reins as the CEO of Walt Disney. Actually, I think it might predate that. So the mistake in question is that when an animated series reaches its 65th episode, it comes to an end, whether appropriately or abruptly. We've seen this mistake made with a lot of Disney animated series. So, Kim Possible, American Dragon Jake Long, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Recess, Doug, the buzz on Maggie, even though that was kind of a lackluster show, and a couple of Jetix series as well, such as Yin Yang Yo, Get Ed, Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. I think that's what it's called. And now that I think about it, this principle doesn't just apply to Disney shows. It applies to animated shows in general. So a notable example would be Rugrats, which originally was intended for just 65 episodes before it got uncancelled later in the decade. Same thing with Kim Possible, when the huge fan demand pretty much led it to become uncancelled. As far as this rule goes, don't quote me on this because I'm not sure if this really is the reason, but usually this rule has something to do with syndicating these animated shows. Syndication is when a television network sells one of their shows off to other television networks so that they can do whatever it is they want to do with these shows. And usually this is for the purpose of generating additional revenue from viewership and advertisement on top of the revenue that was already made from the original run of the show. Like I said, don't quote me on that, because I'm not sure if that really is the reason for Disney axing Wander Over Yonder in the first place. And it's a little premature to jump into conclusions, even though it is 2 months into this situation already. I kind of think it's a little too premature to make any sort of assumption. As for me, I never really got into Wander Over Yonder. I mean, I dabbled into it, and I have bought the very first episode on iTunes, but I've only watched that once, and that was it. I would dabble every now and then, but I never really got fully invested like the fan base did. I did get into the hype train at one point. Yeah, it was Craig McCracken, obviously. I had to see what was going on with him. I had to see what sort of new invention he was gonna cook up. And somewhere down the road, I kind of jumped ship. I kind of hopped off the hype train, and after catching up with a couple of episodes recently, I asked myself, what in the world is wrong with me? Why did I get on board the hype train so early on, like even before the show premiered, and get off that hype train like prematurely? I mean, what did I get off so early and without even knowing why? And now that I have seen a couple of episodes, I'm actually looking forward to catching up with the rest of the show. This is the kind of show that you watch if you want to unwind, if you want to feel good, or if you're having a particularly bad day. You watch solely to take your mind off of whatever you're going through at the moment. And personally, that is exactly the experiences I have when I watch this show, because when it boils down to it, that's what it really is. It's a feel-good show with a lot of retro influences in it, kind of like how a lot of Craig McCracken and Gendy Tartakovsky's shows pan out. In this case, the retro influences are the earliest perceptions or earliest assumptions of what extraterrestrial life is like. Barbarian, unrefined, uncultured, and this was in a time before our perceptions have changed. And so this really is a feel-good show that when you watch it, you just get this warm and fuzzy sensation inside of you. And I know that's a bit of a generic statement to say, but I can't think of any other statement that is any more true than that. There's currently a petition on the internet to convince Disney to uncancel Wander Over Yonder. It's over at change.org, and I'm going to include the link to that petition on this annotation right here and on the description below. Unlike a lot of the petitions you see on this website, this one is actually specific as to who it's targeting. So it's targeting 5 specific higher-ups over at Walt Disney. One of them is the media relations head, which is Cecilia Johnson. And perhaps the most important one of them all is the president and chief creative officer for Disney Channels Worldwide, which is Gary Marsh. And if my suspicions are correct, Gary Marsh is the one who is calling the shots as far as Disney televised programming goes, because that's pretty much the role of a chief creative officer, being in charge of marketing and the general look and feel of a television network and what sort of content that gets broadcast on that network. And the goal of this petition is 25,000 signatures, and so far it has a little under 18,000. And this petition has also been endorsed by Craig McCracken. If you go to his Twitter feed, you'll see him passing the petition around to people asking for it. And judging by the looks of it, this petition has actually gained a lot of traction since it was started 2 months ago. In just under 24 hours, it's gained 1,500 signatures, and it's gained 4,000 over the course of 3 days. Now that's just amazing. So if you enjoy the show, or you know someone who enjoys the show, go ahead and click on that link and show your support by signing in, and encourage your acquaintances, friends and family, if they enjoy the show too, or they enjoy good shows in general, to hop on board and sign in. And if you're feeling especially generous, you can promote the petition and by dropping in a couple of tens of dollars, and that'll get the petition to reach out to a number of users, depending on how much you pay. Now, I've already signed the petition, and this is just to remind you guys that yes, it does exist, and yes, it is legit. It's going to a specified group of people, the higher-ups over there at Disney, and it is endorsed by the creator of the show himself. And I personally am considering dropping in at least $10 to really spread the word of this petition beyond what I can do with this video and my social media profiles. And I am all for supporting Wander Over Yonder and getting it out of this debacle with its impending cancellation, because frankly I am so sick and tired to death of seeing these shows, whether live action or animated, with so much potential and so much going for them, only to be cancelled just like that. And I can name a couple of examples, both old and recent, that have suffered this fate. So shows such as Young Justice, Symbionic Titan, Sonic Sat AM, The Spectacular Spider-Man, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Those are a few shows with so much potential in them and have amassed such a huge viewership, but before the creators could go far enough with them, the networks behind them have chosen to just cut them off just like that. And I can't tell you how frustrated I really am about this situation. It's the truth of television, and it's a sad truth. Now you might say that the reasoning behind this is numerous and valid. So reasons such as budget constraints, time constraints, competing for a specific coveted time slot, and merchandise sales, and advertisement revenue. But as far as I see it, those reasons are not valid whatsoever. I mean, let's take, for example, The Amazing World of Gumball. It's one of the most creative shows on Cartoon Network right now. And let me tell you, producing a single episode of that show is not cheap. because of all the different art styles incorporated in it. And not only that, but it's constantly fighting with its contemporaries, regular show, Steven Universe, Adventure Time, in order to get the same level of press as they have. And as opposed to those three shows where they have solidified time slots, Gumball is constantly being shifted back and forth from one time slot to another, be it the morning, the afternoon, nighttime. It's a mess for Gumball. It's an uphill battle for Gumball and Ben Beausoleil, the creator of Gumball. But despite all these struggles that the show is facing, it still managed to run for 5 years now. So you're telling me that a show like Gumball can run for as long as it can, even with all the trials and tribulations it's facing, but a show like Young Justice, a show like Thundercats, a show like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, we can't say the same thing for them. And now we're seeing the same mistake being made with Wander Over Yonder, and personally I am fed up. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back for me. We've said it many times in the past, and I doubt we're going to stop anytime soon, although I really don't see any reason why we should. But we're going to say it again and again and again to serve as a reminder for these television networks out there. If you have an idea that you feel is good, that you feel is going to be the next big thing, then you are going to stick to your guns no matter what, and you are going to show your full support for these shows from beginning to end. If you do that, who knows, then this idea that you might have in your hands just might meet your expectations or even surpass them. It's that simple. And that is going to do it for today. I hope I've given you guys as best an update as I can, and I hope I've cleared the air up for any of you who are completely out of the loop. And yeah, Wander Over Yonder is a good show that deserves much better treatment than what it's getting right now. I hope that this will serve as a reminder not just to Disney, not just to these television networks and studios and entertainment companies out there, but to anyone and everyone out there in general, that if you have an idea under your belt that you feel is going to be the next big thing, that you feel is going to be very successful or is successful with your audience and is garnering that viewership and revenue that you're looking for, then you should do your best to stick to your guns no matter what and show these ideas your full-fledged support every step of the way. And who knows, maybe these ideas might go the extra mile and exceed your wildest expectations. And as always, if you like what you see, then go ahead and click that like button and subscribe button if you want to see more. And stay tuned on my social media pages, my Facebook page, which is the one and only Christopher R. Martin, and my Twitter account, which is at crmartin1992. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. #SaveWOY.